Alrighty. So like I said, have extensive background and experience in helping law firms market and grow. I've seen some practices and approaches that have been particularly helpful in law firms in starting this endeavor and then honing the sophistication. I broke it down into a 3-part framework, and that's what we're going to go over today. So what are those 3 steps to being a digitally sophisticated law firm? The first one is to own your entire digital presence and be on all the channels that matter. Now, this is actually this can be a free endeavor for you to set up for your firm. It means everywhere you can be searched, everywhere you can be found, everywhere your potential client is looking for you. How are you representing yourself? So we'll talk about some properties that every law firm should be on, how to set up your pages in that way, and what are best practices there. Now, let's say you've set up your digital presence. You're on the 5 properties we'll go over. Now you have the opportunity, okay, I'm proud of how I'm being represented. Now it's time to pay to drive some traffic to those properties. We'll talk about the most cost-effective way to bring traffic to those properties that you set up and to start getting your name out there as a law firm. And then lastly, now that you're paying to send the traffic to those properties, how do you measure what's actually working? How can you tell which of your investments in media are giving you a return or yielding clients? And how can you double down in those success areas? So first, diving into your own digital presence and what are the channels that matter. You can think about this in 5 buckets. For all law firms, there are 5 places that you should have a presence online. The first is Google My Business. Second is your firm website. Then it's having a firm Facebook and Instagram page, a firm LinkedIn page, and a firm YouTube channel. Except for the website, all of these properties are free. They allow you to show in branded searches and in places where people are looking for your content. You have to get these properties set up before you even think about starting to spend money on ads and starting to send traffic to these properties. There's no point in thinking about, okay, how do I get the right eyeballs there if at first you don't have the right content and the right format for when you do bring the eyeballs to it. First, we'll go into Google My Business. This is known as GMB, and it's completely free. You could think about it as like today's white pages or Google's version of the white pages. It's your business listing. It allows you to easily connect with customers across Google. It shows in search and maps. You'll see a listing here for the Chicago Music Exchange. I'm sure all you are familiar with sort of engaging with Google My Business, both on desktop and on your mobile. As the owner of your Google My Business account, you'll be able to respond to reviews and add comments. You can update your business hours and own how your business is represented on Google My Business. That's the first place. Second place is your firm website. And a firm website serves many purposes. It allows you to share information about who you are, showcase your services, communicate what makes you unique. You think about it as your digital business card. Of the 5 properties we're going through about owning your presence, this is the only of the properties that you have to pay to set up. A firm website should be simple, should be a few pages about the practice areas you want to go into, some context about the firm. Shouldn't cost any more than a few $1,000s to set up the right way. Next, you have your firm Facebook page. This is, you could think of it the same as the Google My Business listing, is your sort of on Google place that traffic is sent for within Google. This is the similar essence, but within Facebook. It's free to set up, no development needed as opposed to your website. It's simply plug and play with image and text fields. And you can see, you can have people like it. You can engage with followers on it. You can push and share blog posts or content straight from your Facebook page, something that all firms should have set up. Very similar to that is your LinkedIn page. This is the LinkedIn property where ultimately you could drive traffic to. Similar to Facebook, no development needed. Simply plug and add in your text and your pictures, and you could set up your LinkedIn page. And then lastly is your YouTube channel. Your YouTube channel is your repository for video content. You may think today my firm doesn't have video content. It's definitely where the field is evolving and something I would definitely consider you to think about investing in. YouTube gives you a free place to house that content. And the best part about it is having it be on YouTube, it's now searchable and discoverable when people are looking for that type of content. So it's an easy way to make your videos accessible and live other places besides just your website. So now we've gone through the 5 places that are essential to own your digital presence. Let's assume now your firm is set up and you have pages in all those places. Next, you want to start investing and driving the right traffic to get a return from those pages. So that means investing in Google search ads, investing on the Google Display Network, leveraging YouTube ads, Facebook and Instagram ads, and LinkedIn ads. I'll go through some benefits of each and basic setup. There's a lot more in depth we can go to, and I'm happy to answer any questions either afterwards on some tactics across all these channels, or you can reach out to me and we can do a much deeper dive. So first is Google search. As many of you know, Google, the largest search engine on the planet. This is where you want to be for intent-based queries. So you can target a specific audience within your geographic and specific queries where they're showing intent for your services. You then set up a structured text ad to serve in the results of those places. Here we have an example. You see the Google search at the top, lawyer by me, and you see several ads at the first results, Legal Shield and Baker Law, so on and so forth. These are serving as the top results when people are looking for a lawyer by me. It's, like I said, it's geographically based, and it leads to intent and lower funnel engagement, a really effective way to drive potential calls and potential new clients. Next, we have the Google Display Network. These are the banner ads that you're familiar with seeing across news and other websites on the internet. It allows you to promote your firm via display ads. This is a slightly more upper funnel tactic. So clicks on the display network are much cheaper than they are via search. You can get more volume. Here we have an example of a legal industry advertiser on the Google Display Network. So you'll see this is on a news article on AP News. And at the top, we have LegalZoom with a banner ad. You can click to engage on that, and that'll bring that traffic to the LegalZoom relevant site. The display network is great for remarketing purposes too. To the extent that remarketing is allowed for legal advertisers, you can set up an audience list, and those customers or clients that have been to your site, you can then continue to reach out to them on display banners when they travel and when they traffic other sites on the internet. That brings us next to the third tactic for paid ads, and that's YouTube. YouTube has over 2 million monthly visitors, all coming to view video content. It's actually the second most searched search engine on the planet. There's 2 different ways to set up an ad program within YouTube. The first, many of you I'm sure are familiar with. These are the TrueView or pre-roll ads, where you're watching content on YouTube and you see an ad for the first 5 seconds that you could skip before the content that you're there for. That's one way to advertise. Another way is to use YouTube Discovery, which you see examples of here. That is similar to the way you advertise on search, whereby you target specific queries and then can show your video as a suggested result at the top. So here you see estate planning basics, and we'll see 2 ads here for estate planning services, because those advertisers have set up programs whereby on YouTube, they're targeting that type of keywords and that type of content. It's a very effective way for law firms to advertise. Next, we have Facebook and Instagram ads. I'm sure many are familiar with these and engaging with Facebook and seeing them on your feeds. Facebook is a very effective way to target an extremely granular audience. If you have a niche type practice or a specific type of client that you're looking for, Facebook has a lot of elective information that people have given to the platform just by virtue of engaging with it, and you can target really granularly for those tactics. All the clicks and engagement here drive the traffic to your Facebook page, which we said in the first part of the framework is an important thing to set up, so you can be assured that when you're paying for this traffic, you're bringing them to a good landing page in a place that they can then engage and reach out to your firm. LinkedIn ads, very similar. If you're targeting a more professional type client base or a white collar type client base, LinkedIn ads are extremely effective. They're bought very similar to the Facebook ad program. Here we have an example of a Colorado legal group leveraging a LinkedIn ad and how it looks. So now we'll say that you have established your presence, you have honed in your paid strategy across those 5 properties using those 5 tactics. Now, how do you know if you're getting a positive return on investment? How do you know if the average that you're setting up is essentially working for your firm? Well, it's very important to measure the return on investment using conversion tracking, which is done by click identifiers, and then in thinking about what conversions matter for your firm and how can you do a return on investment analysis. So when it comes to conversion and click identifiers, what makes digital media so great is that everything can be tracked and measurable. If you buy a billboard or you buy a cable spot, it's very hard to attribute what audience engagement exactly led to client results. Whereas with any digital media, when set up properly, you should be able to have those type of results. So first, when we think about a conversion, this is the goal with which you want to reach when paying for digital ads. So this could be someone filling out a form on your website. This could be someone clicking to call, or this could just be someone engaging with a blog post or engaging with several pages on your site. Then we have click identifiers. This is how we know what users are driving those ultimate conversions. So what does a click identifier look like? Here we have an example of buying shoes. You'll see the search here for buy shoes. We have the first ad for Rockport, men's shoes on sale. If you were to click that ad, you then go to this sort of long, complex URL. What all those added characters are after the rockport.com is click identifiers that Rockport has set up to track who has clicked on their ads, and then ultimately, do you put a shoe into your shopping cart, and did that yield to a purchase and a conversion? You want to be doing a similar tactic with your law firm, and setting these up properly means getting those click identifiers in place. It's very easy to do, and I'm happy to talk through any questions or help afterwards with anybody who has questions related to that. Once you are tracking the traffic properly, then you want to think about what conversions matter. So the most basic and sort of out of the box conversion tracking, this will come with any ad program you set up with Facebook, Google, or the like, would be click traffic. It's tracking how many clicks am I getting on a particular type of ad spend. Now, that it's good to know, but how do you know what is the quality of those clicks? Have they led to cases? You need to go one next level, and that is to track phone calls and form fills. In an ideal world, then you'll be able to sort of get the sense of, okay, I spent X amount on my investment and it yielded this many phone calls, this many form fills, this many potential clients. There you have a sense, what is your conversion rate? And, if you get 10 calls, does one yield a client? What is the quality? And you can sort of back into what is your return on investment. Taking it one step further, if you're tracking those click identifiers to then signed cases, you're able to actually really attribute what was my investment to those signed cases. And then the best is if you can track how profitable are those cases and pass that conversion data back into the ad platforms. That's where you're really able to leverage the machine learning and conversion optimizers that these ad platforms have, so they can get the best result for you. If they know this traffic gets you your best cases, you could set up smart campaigns based around those type of conversions and drive as many of those really high value cases for your firm. So in summary, to have this simple path and a simple framework to own and really leverage digital for the growth of your firm, the first step is to own your digital presence. We talked about those 5 channels. You want to have a property you're proud of across all 5 of those. Like I said, it's a free endeavor, all except for setting up your website. That you may need to pay a little bit of money to set up properly. Once you have your digital presence shored up, the next thing you want to do is drive traffic. Drive traffic means setting up paid ad programs and tracking the results. And the last step is measuring what those results are yielding, doubling down, and truly being a sophisticated advertiser in that sense. This is all very possible. You want to follow steps 1, 2, and then 3. And like I said, I'm happy to take questions now, and please reach out to me afterwards. My email address is shankercorp ShainkerCorp@gmail.com. And I'm happy to answer any questions there. Thank you. And I'll turn it back over to Susan.
Dan, thank you very much. I want to give people a little bit of, there we go. Oh gosh. I want to give people a little bit of an opportunity to think about the questions I want to ask you. So you talked about 5 channels, and I'm sure most of the people listening have a presence on several. So I'm sure most of the people listening have a website. They're on LinkedIn, maybe they're on Facebook. I'm thinking that many probably don't have a presence on, say, YouTube. What recommendations do you have for people to get started in building a presence on, say, YouTube?
Yeah. And I highlight those 5 channels just to give the sense of a lot of firms will be in this space where they'll think, I do have some of these properties, but I'm just not confident in that I've done everything I should digitally to then move to the next step to invest in ads. I highlight those 5 channels to say it's relatively easy to sort of button up and have your whole comprehensive strategy. All you need is those 5 things. But you're right, YouTube is probably the last one that's accessed for law firms. A YouTube page is as easy to set up as a Gmail address. Essentially what you need is relevant video content. Nowadays with Zoom and FaceTime and things like that, creating relevant content could be as simple as, daily talking into your camera for 1 or 2 minutes about advice you give for your client. You want to think about what value can you provide to your client via these videos. How are they going to be then searched on YouTube? You want to make sure your titles are responsive to how you think that content is searching and what the value is, and just produce that. There's the more the better very often, and it's sort of one of those things. The hardest part is getting started.
Is there a recommendation that you have for the products that you might need to create those videos?
Yeah, you need sound. It's truly a sound web camera, good audio, and if you're going to do sort of type of videos where it's you being instructional and talking to the camera, if not, there are a lot of startup video agencies. I know particularly in the Boston area that can definitely help, and it's relatively inexpensive to get some videos off the ground.
We have a question. When hiring a digital marketing company to build the website for you, how important is it to also pay a monthly fee for that company to handle ongoing SEO, content, account management, etc.?
Great question. It depends on your approach to your strategy, to your website after the first wave of development. SEO is very nuanced. It's essentially thinking about the Google algorithm and how it's sourcing its results. That is a bit of a black box and very hard to determine. But one thing that is sure is when content is relevant, when content relates to the particular query, that's how you can show your best results. So a money invested in SEO, I think for a small law firm is better served investing in blogs and content around your particular audience. What are you answering? What are the type of clients that you want? If you were to take any management fee and then instead put that into your process in creating blog posts for your potential clients, I think you'll see those blog posts will get better SEO results for the content that they speak to than a general page about your website and promoting that SEO through some back channel strategies. So I think actually it's less important to pay management fee and sort of post hoc on just organic SEO for your website. I would invest that into producing relevant content.
If somebody is thinking about either setting up their website for the first time or maybe upgrading, do you have a recommendation on whether they should try to do it themselves or hire a professional?
Yeah, I think it can go one of two ways. Law firm websites can be simple. If you look at some of the Largest law firms, they still have very simple landing pages. There's not a lot, you don't need these flashy moving objects or some of the complexity you see in like e-commerce stores when it comes to a law firm website. So a platform like Wix or Squarespace and even their basic package is more than enough to set up a law firm website. It's really just, think of it as your digital business card. You want enough there to pique interest, to engage your customers, to reach out, but it doesn't need to do anything more.
Dan, when you work with clients, what are some of the top mistakes that you see your clients making, or back when you're working with clients when you started your business while you were a Northeastern student? What were the top 3 mistakes that you saw clients
Sure.
making, and how did you advise them to fix them?
Sure, a great question. People who are familiar with buying Google search ads will be very familiar with the cost. Legal is one of the most expensive categories when it comes, because it's an auction-based platform, and because the value of a potential legal customer is so high, and law firms are willing to pay a lot for those queries. So what you'd see is people often say, okay, I want to be, let's say you're a personal injury attorney. People often say, I want to show for the result personal injury attorneys near me. But because the competition is so intense there, that click could be $30 a click. It could be $40 a click. If you go slightly more upper funnel and think about what is my audience searching for and thinking about before they necessarily have that intent purely for the legal practitioner that they're looking for. So if they're looking up what to do after a car accident or things of that nature, a more sophisticated strategy is to cover all those type of queries. You'll get more traffic. They're still your relevant customers, but you're not competing in this space where all other lawyers are. The same approach there is to, do the display network and do video ads. A lot of people are reluctant to lean into those platforms, but you'll see tremendous results.
Dan, I want to thank you so much. This was a wonderful presentation. I think everybody on it learned quite a bit. We have Dan's contact information if you want to get in touch with him. If you have additional questions that you didn't have a chance to ask, you can ask him directly. I want to thank everybody for signing on today. If you circle back, next week we're going to stick with this theme a little bit more, the marketing theme. We have Hong Dao, who is going to talk to us about more than a sales pitch, legal marketing as a client development and risk management tool. We will have this particular recording up as soon as possible. You'll all be able to access it at any time. If Dan gives us a PDF of his slides, we will put those up as well. I want to thank everybody for joining us today, and I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Next week, not tomorrow, sorry. All right, bye,
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.
Dan, I'll circle back with you afterwards, okay?
Sure.